If you're listening to this at a later time, happy Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, whatever day it is. I am Sherry, your host for the day. You are on Unzipped with Sherry. Last week we had a really great episode where we talked about the origin story of bariatric surgery itself, which was really informative. And I actually learned a lot, which was really exciting. So for this week, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go back in time a little bit. We just passed our 3-month anniversary of the show. And my very first guest on the show was Chelsey, and we heard all about her story. She was like the first guest. She's going to have a special place in my heart for the rest of my life because she was so gracious enough to be the very first person to come on the show and be open and honest about her story. So since we just passed the 3-month mark, I thought, how great would it be to have Chelsey come back and just kind of give us an update on what's been going on in the last 3 months. I'm sure there's a lot of exciting things, maybe some bad things, good things. I don't know. I'm just really excited. And I'm just really grateful that she was able to join us today. So Chelsey, I hope you're ready because we're about to get unzipped again. We all have a story on how we got here, right? So for me, I used to be over 350 pounds until one day I made the single decision that I wanted change. Weight loss surgery has saved my life, and now I am here for you. I want to hear your story. You know, the one that happened during that before and after picture. It's time to unzip. What's your story?
Hello.
Hello, gorgeous. How are you today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. I know I tell you this all the time, but I am literally obsessed with your smile. You have this smile, and every time you smile, your face just beams, and I just want to smile from ear to ear. And I absolutely
Thank you.
So first and foremost, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining today. I have a feeling that it's one of those things where every single show I do, there is some kind of hiccup of some kind, whether it's somebody bailed at the last second because they couldn't get the connection to work, or there's been audio issues or scrambling, or I just joke, I'm just a constant shit show. And of course, with this episode, there was no exception. I had a guest cancel at the last minute, and then I was scrambling, and I'm like, wait, it's been 3 months since we did the show. Let me just reach out to Chelsey and give her 12 hours notice and be like, hey, what you doing tomorrow? And you were just so gracious, and you're like, I'm in, let's do this. And here we are. So seriously, thank you so much for coming today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, because we talked all about your journey last time and your story and your origin and everything like that. You had just recently gotten engaged when we did the show. So I'm going to be asking you all about that because I used to work for a wedding company years ago, and watching the brides get excited over the little details and everything. So I'm definitely going to pick your brain. But overall, what has the last 3 months been like for you?
The last 3 months have been a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of positives, have had some negatives, and some kind of plateaus. Mainly my weight loss has been plateauing.
Okay.
But other than that, ups and downs, it's kind of been life.
Well, also, because if I remember correctly, you're just over 2 years out, right? Almost 2.5 years out.
Yes, correct.
And I think that's kind of normal, where you kind of enter the stall phase, and then you're like, all right, I got to find something different to kind of kick it up a notch. But you mentioned that there's been some negative things, so maybe stress has something to do with it?
Possibly. I've had migraines for years, and so a cousin of mine was like, why don't you get a brain MRI done? They can look more in depth to it, see if there's something going on. I was having some pressure in my head, so I had an MRI done, and they did find some lesions in my brain which are indicative of MS, which ironically my paternal grandmother had before she had passed. And so it's like, okay, I could kind of see that, but since I haven't had a previous MRI, I have to wait until the end of September to get another MRI. And then from there, if it still indicates MS, then we do further testing.
Okay. Now, is MS hereditary?
It can be, but it's not necessarily.
Okay. So basically they had done these tests and they found like some small indicators, but is it possible that the indicators could be something else also?
Very, very possible. The where it is in my brain, it's around my cortex, so it's around the outer layer, and it's
Okay.
in my gray matter. And there was, I want to say, about 5 to 6 spots
Okay.
in there. So they were like, my neurologist that I see is a nurse practitioner, and he talked to his boss who deals mainly with MS patients, and he's like, I could kind of see where that is there. He said, but there's nothing to compare it to, so I can't
Right.
say for sure right now.
Because if you've never had one before, it's very possible you could have had this your entire life too.
Very, very possible. Another thing that I did with, I research everything when something happens to me.
You
It,
Google
so it does come back that it's a possible side effect of diabetes if your diabetic numbers are really, really high. So it
Really?
could be a side effect from that, but
Because
just
we
go ahead.
also we did talk in your very first episode that you did have diabetes,
Yes.
but if I remember correctly, the numbers are within normal range now. Soon after.
Yes, they are. And my
Okay.
A1C even went down further from February. So I'm like 6.1 now 6.4. So
Yeah.
tons better. But because my sugars were so high for so long, everything of body. And
Right.
who knows what damage it did.
So it is possible that this could be residual side effects or from having diabetes for as long as you did. Now, I'm hoping that it's something that over time, as you continue, being healthy and stuff, that it can eventually dissipate, or like, I don't know anything about this.
I'm hoping with MS, it would be for life.
Right.
If it's not that, I'm not sure. They even said it could be a side effect from my migraines. It could be something that affects my migraines. So there are a few variations, but they were pretty sound on possible MS.
Interesting. And did you have migraines even before the surgery?
Yes, I've had migraines since I was 18. And they actually told me when I started that they were stress headaches. And I was like, I don't think they're stress headaches. And so I saw my primary and I saw a few other doctors, and they're like, no, that's migraine.
Got it. And do they give you any like tips and tricks on like ways that you can kind of like help alleviate the pain when it's coming on?
So I have a medication that I take every day. It's once a day before bed. And then I have a rescue med. So if it does get really bad and I have it for longer than they say to take it when you get the migraine, but I also just get random headaches. So it's like, well, is it a headache or is it a migraine? And this medicine is like $30 for 8 pills. And so
Yeah, you don't want.
it's better than the $1,000 it was supposed to be before for 8 pills. But
True.
it's like I don't want to take it at every little pain I have in my head.
Right. And that's why this is so hard too, because you and I have talked, we're very similar in that we Google a lot and we're not supposed to Google because we
Yeah.
always have like some rare disease of some kind. But I remember when I had that nervous breakdown years ago, and I had like these horrible panic attacks. And then it would get to the point where you just kind of have like a hint of a headache. And then I'm like, okay, so usually when I get this headache, then it turns into this full blown panic attack. So even like the smallest onset of a headache, then you start getting inside your head. Then you start
Mm-hmm.
exasperating it. Now you're stressing yourself out, and the stress is making it get worse. And then I would end up having the panic attack because I literally put myself in a state of panic leading up to it, where I had to like step back and be like, sometimes it's just a headache. Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
not like the end of the world. But and that's why I know that you and I can relate because we're very, very similar in that case. But so we're not going to know anything until September. So I guess we'll just have to have you come back in September and give us like an update because everything's going to be good.
Yes.
That's what we're putting out there. But some good things have been happening in the last 3 months
Yes.
too. So we had talked last time that you had recently just gotten engaged, which I was so excited about. Um, And I love that I've been following your story on Facebook too, because the posts that you put are so amazing. But there was an NSV that literally tugged on my heartstrings, like when I read it. And I am not, people who know me know I'm not a crier. And even I started to tear up because it was so sweet. Why don't you tell us about, what we're going to talk about?
Yes. So this is one of my hugest non-scale victories I have ever had since surgery. And it's one that I never thought was possible. And so my mother passed away when I was 14. And I was able to get her wedding dress in a box, and it's been put away. And so she got married to my stepdad who adopted me when I was 4. So in 1995. And of course, it's, a styled dress. So the really big poofy shoulders, and it's dated. It was hilarious. And so I was like, I want to see if there's anything somebody could do to moderate, or what they could do, or what suggestions they had. So messaged a seamstress here in town and went and talked with her. She's like, well, I need you to try it on so I could see it. And I was like, okay, not sure how this is going to go, but okay. And so took it out, finally got to see it for the first time since 1995 and feel it. And I put it on and it fit me like a glove. Like it literally, like she got it buttoned all the way up, and it's big, huge back. It's a high neck dress. It was, I literally started tearing as soon as she said, I got you in completely. And I'm like, ah. It was amazing. And so, yeah, I fit my mother's wedding dress, and literally there's only like 2 things that she would change in it, and it would cost me less than $100 to get that changed.
That is literally just the coolest thing ever. And I know, like, you had made a comment that, number one, I felt like it was serendipitous that it happened when it did, and how because any kind of like dresses, like especially if you're larger chested or have bigger hips, like it might fit around the hips but not around the boobs, or it'll fit around the boobs, not around the hips. And the fact that it literally fit like every nook and cranny of your body just like perfect was, I truly felt, and I loved, you made a comment that it really felt like your mom was in the room when it happened.
It did.
And,
I felt like she was hugging me.
and that, like, dude, that is what like almost broke me, because I literally I wished I was in, because you're in Minnesota, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because it gets really cold there. But I really felt like I was standing in that room with you in Minnesota and just feeling the energy of like how that moment felt for you. Oh, like it literally, it still gives me goosebumps to this day. And that's why I am so excited. And I can't wait, because you set a date too, right?
We did. It, as of now, it might change to a different month of the same year, but it's October 4th of 2025 right now.
Okay, so we got some time to plan.
Yes.
Which, and I love too, because like I said, I used to work in the wedding industry, and it's the stress that brides were under, because a lot of people were planning weddings in like 6 months to a year. And in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that's plenty of time to plan a wedding. But when you think about all of the specifics, these poor women were so stressed out, which is why I kind of love that you're taking your time with it, and you can like do things in certain increments. And I don't know, I assume that the dress is probably one of the hardest. I feel like for me, because like it's like you want to feel your absolute best, and you want to be the most beautiful woman in the room that day. And so the fact that you already have that out the gate is such a huge thing. And you said there's very little alterations to it, right?
Yep, she wants to add some structure on the sides, because back then they didn't have any boning or um, just structure on your sides. And then we're going to de-poof the shoulders.
Depoofing.
De-poofing. And then there is, I laugh because I have to say it. I'll have to post a picture in the comments of the post, but there's a butt ruffle on the wedding dress. Like back then, it was not a bow, but a butt ruffle, like literally a piece of lace that literally is just a little ruffle, like that lays on top of your butt.
Weird. I want to see it though.
It is so funny because I was like, And even the seamstress like, I would kind of remove that. That kind of dates it. And I showed it to my best friend Jen, and she's like, oh no, that goes with the dress. You got to keep it. And I showed it to my cousin, who is going to be my matron of honor. And she's like, well, it flows into the dress. It goes from the dress because there's a huge train that goes in the back of the dress.
Okay.
And that's where it starts at the butt ruffle, and then it goes down into the train. She's like, I think you should keep it. It goes with the train. And so I laughed. And
you never. So yeah, I need to see this butt ruffle like 100%. I love it.
Well, the funny thing was, is I was talking to John, my fiance, and he's like, you should keep it the way it is, babe. That's just keep it the way it is. I said, but it's a butt ruffle. And so I didn't show him the actual wedding dress, but I showed him the area of the butt ruffle.
Right.
He's like, that makes your butt stand out. I like it. Keep it.
I know. So far you've gotten 3 keep it's right now. And you never know. So the kind of dress that it is, are you able to continuously take it in, like as need be?
Yes. She said the hardest part is to take it out and add fabric to it. But she said taking it in wouldn't be an issue.
Okay, good. Because I already foresee, like, I literally can picture how you're gonna look. I don't know if you can see it yet, but I can totally see it. And like, I'm just, I don't know yet. I'm just assuming that there's a chance I might be invited to the wedding, and I will make sure that I make arrangements to come to Minnesota and come see you.
Yay.
Hint, hint. No pressure.
Oh, you're already on the guest list. You're good.
Yeah. Because number 1, like I've never been to Minnesota. Number 2, I just love weddings. And number 3, because I've gotten to know you and I've gotten to know your story, like being able to see this whole thing come full circle and just see you at the epitome on your day. Like I'm like, I don't know, obviously you're going to be really excited. I don't want to say I'm going to be more excited than you, but I am so excited to keep watching this journey unfold. And then on top of that, as if, you know, that wasn't enough, you just had a very milestone birthday.
I did. I celebrated my 30th birthday last Wednesday.
You're
a week
dirty
ago.
30.
Yeah, that's what John keeps calling it too.
That's what it's called or whatever. But I had no idea at the time that you and I are only a few days apart on our birthdays.
I think that is so cool.
Yeah, like we're August babies. Are you still considered a Leo though?
Nope, I'm Virgo. I was on the 22nd, so I would have been a Leo, but I was 2 days late, and so I was a Virgo.
I guess we can still be friends. It's fine.
I still have some tendencies to be a Leo. I'm on the cusp of Leo for a few things.
All right. Well, so what, did you do anything special to celebrate?
So on my birthday, I didn't do a whole lot, just kind of spent the day just kind of going back and forth. I did buy myself a birthday cake. It had to be Friends themed, so I was super excited.
Wait, you bought yourself a cake?
I did buy myself a cake. Only because I could not celebrate it with John because we live 2 hours away from each other and he had to work all day.
That's right.
But then him and his family celebrated with me on Saturday. And his mom made me a homemade gluten-free cheesecake. Which was so amazing. Cheesecake is my ultimate favorite dessert. That is my one weakness in life. I will admit that. My second one is red velvet cake.
Oh my God. Okay, maybe that's a Leo thing because I love a good cheesecake, and maybe it's because I'm obsessed with the Golden Girls, and I've had been since I was a little kid. So I'm all about cheesecake. And then my second choice has always been red velvet.
So my birthday cake was red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting.
Now, in Minnesota, do you guys have Cheesecake Factory, the restaurant?
We do not.
Have you ever had it?
So, funny story with that. So I sold paparazzi jewelry for a while. And I went to their convention in 2019 in Vegas. And so I arrived 3 days before the convention to have a little mini vacation. And so I ordered cheesecake to be delivered to my hotel room. I ordered a piece of cheesecake and a burger and fries. They forgot the cheesecake. Like, they literally forgot the one thing I wanted to try from Cheesecake Factory. And of course, it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night when they finally got it to me. So I couldn't order another piece of cheesecake, and I didn't have a whole lot of money. So they gave me, I think, like $5 back. And I was just like, That's not what I wanted.
Okay, well, first of all, I agree with Emily who wrote it and said that you are missing out. You are 100% missing out because let me tell you something, lady. At the Cheesecake Factory, they have a red velvet cheesecake.
Oh my gosh.
And for for many years, that was my birthday go-to. Is why I wanted to go to the Cheesecake Factory on my birthday, and I wanted red velvet cheesecake. And it's so extremely filling. Like what? And I also learned years later that like one slice of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory is like something like 14 or 1500 calories. Like it is downright offensive.
But
How
it's
much?
worth it.
Oh, it's worth every bite. And even to this day, like I don't go to Cheesecake Factory very often. And now I just moved to Bakersfield and we don't have a Cheesecake Factory out here, which is like ridiculous.
That's so odd
But
because Bakersfield has like everything.
they do for the most part. Like we have a Raising Cane, which we did not have in LA, and everybody raves about this Raising Cane place. I don't.
I have relatives who live in Bakersfield, so I've been out there. It's been many years, but I have been out to Bakersfield. So
Okay. So when you come to Bakersfield, you're gonna definitely let me know, right?
absolutely.
Can I don't think I even told you. So like a few weeks ago, I think it was like a month ago, I had Marcy on the show, and she and I like hit it off. We had like a great time. Well, weeks later, I found out that she lived like 3 or 4 hours from me, like not too bad at all. She literally texted me out of the blue one day and said, "Hey, I'm actually in your neck of the woods," because she was a realtor. And she's like, "Any chance you'd want to meet for lunch?" And I'm like, 100% yes. I will literally drop everything. And I got to go and meet her for lunch for a few
Oh, how fun!
how cool is it to have somebody who's a guest on the show and like you connect over a computer, but it's not the same as being in person and feeling the energy. Like we had the best time. So you are 100% letting me know when you make it out here.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I won't be able to take you to Cheesecake Factory, but we'll find like something more healthier to go on. So there was another NSV or surrounding your birthday, correct?
Yes. So I knew with living apart from John that we were going to celebrate it the weekend after. And his mom wanted to take me out to a couple bars and a restaurant and the casino here. And I was like, okay, so we're going to go all out. And I found this amazing dress that I fell in love with. And the only downfall was they either had a 3X or a large available. And they only had one left of the large.
That's a vastly different.
Uh-huh. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to order it. I have 2 months, to go get the large. Let's work on it. And of course, life has happened and I haven't been able to do as well as I thought I would do at exercising and eating. But I still fit in the dress for my birthday celebration. Like
Heck,
I was so excited, although it was hilarious because I tried it on and I was like, this isn't fitting. Why isn't this fitting? And I found there was a zipper that went from my armpit to my hip on one side. That was just it. Just one little zipper. And it had come open, but it wouldn't go back up. And so I was like, okay, I'll zip it up and put it on. And it was just fine. It just
oh
was so
my God,
funny.
that is so exciting. Happy Wednesday, Hallie, who's joining us right now too. There's something about clothing specifically that I feel is like the best NSVs because I try not to focus on the number, but I mean, like we're all human. And the thing that sucks with women, like when it comes to pants, there was a time when I had lost all the weight at first and I would go to Kohl's and I'm like, I am going to go hog wild. I'm buying a new wardrobe. And I would try on all these clothes and I literally came home with a size 15, a size 13, a size 11, a size 12, and I think something else. And I'm like, they all fit. So I'm like, so which size am I? And I would get so frustrated. But there's something like when it came to the letters, because there was a time when even a 2X was really stretching it. And I had to get like a 2X from certain stores because of either the material would stretch. So I'll never forget the first time I put on like a shirt and it was a large. I literally lost my shit. Like that was the coolest thing ever.
I didn't believe it when I first tried on a large. Like I did not believe it that I went from a 2 to 3X to a large. Like I was like, no, this has to be mislabeled. Like No, I tried on another large and yep, fit again. I'm like, okay.
And I'm telling you, like when that day comes and there's an M on that shirt, I remember the first time I put on an M, I'm like, this isn't gonna fit me. And my husband's like, just try it on. And I'm like, I've never been a medium. I'm not a medium, like, or whatever. And he goes, just try it on. And I'm like, yeah, but I have giant knockers. Like, it's not. We argue about it. And he goes, Sherry, can you just smurf and try it on? And I'm like, all right, fine. And then it fit. And then I realized, okay, my boobs have gotten smaller over the years. Can I share with you something embarrassing?
Sure.
Just you and me and whoever's going to be watching this. But I'm an open book. So at my heaviest, I used to be a 48 triple D was my bra size.
Okay.
I literally needed a building permit for my chest to be able to walk around in public. Like my boobs were just like naturally very, very large. And then I lost all this weight, and I don't know if it's happened to you yet, but over time, certain things start to deflate a little bit, and as you're getting closer to 40, like they deflate even more. But I bought a bra and it was a 34, which I had never been a 34 in my entire life. And I was like, I almost had to keep looking at the tag to make sure I wasn't going crazy. But it was a 34 triple D. And it was a push, because when they deflate, you kind of need something to push the girls up a little bit.
Yep.
So I recently, just to get some information, I had a consultation to have like skin removal surgery. And initially, like I just wanted to look at my arms and possibly my stomach. But while you're there, like we were just like shooting the shit, and I was talking to the guy, and I mentioned, I said, what would you recommend if I was to consider, getting the girls lifted or whatever? And then I'm not used to some random dude like touching your boobs and stuff. But he literally said that I was a D. And I'm like, I'm not a D. I'm a triple D. And he goes, oh, honey, you're a D. And I'm like, oh. And like I felt like my whole body just like my soul deflated as much as my boobs had. I was like, I've always taken pride that like I had like this really nice rack and it looks really good in a bra. But yeah, they shrunk a lot.
I'm sorry, I laughed. I just could see you. I could see you actually saying that right there. Like I could see you doing that.
It was like, this strange man is holding my boobs, and he took away 2 of the D's from me. Like, what is happening? Like, were you always a larger chested person?
No, I honestly was always a smaller chested. I've always been a B cup. If I was actually a 46B when I started surgery. I'm now down to 40. I'm comfortably a 40B, but I can do a 38C, which
Really?
I don't know how I can fill a C cup because my boobs are like almost non-existent. But it was just like, like I have size 38 sports bras. They're a little tight, but they're also not like completely going up my boobs like my 40s were at one point. Right. Like I literally was walking and my bra literally went above my boobs while I was walking. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm buying new bras right now.
Yeah, it's funny. Emily just wrote that, okay, the band size goes down, the cup sizes go up. Okay, that makes sense, because if I was to go into a store right now and get like a 34D, I'm literally going to be spilling like out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So Hallie said that we should get a professional bra fitting. Best thing I ever did. I really need to do that. I did it one time at a Victoria's Secret. It was the first time I went to a Victoria's Secret because I was like, I've never been able to shop anywhere like this before. And I was so excited. And she had done like a fitting. And I think the girl was new because she had told me that at the time I was probably like a 38. She said I was like a 38 double D. And I'm like, really? I guess I've always been a triple D. And she's like, no, I know what I'm doing. And she pulled out all of these bras. And then I like they were literally like pouring out. I was like, I can't walk out in public like this. Like, this is not. So I just knew myself well enough to know I grabbed the triple D, and then obviously it fit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I need. Wait, there's real bra stores, not just Victoria's Secret?
I honestly, my favorite bras that I get, I actually just ordered one for my birthday, is from Torrid. Torrid has such comfortable bras. I love Torrid. I actually just got one. I had a $10 birthday reward. I actually got one on clearance for $7. And I'm
No
so
shit.
excited. Oh my goodness. They are my most favorite and they last like 2 years for me.
See, I love that because when I was in high school, we didn't have Torrid. I remember we started getting a Hot Topic, but Hot Topic didn't really have bigger sizes. And then at the time, my only option was Lane Bryant. And Lane Bryant, I felt the styles were just way too old for somebody who was like in high school, your early 20s. I just didn't like the style. But then when Torrid started coming out and it was more hip and it was like, and it wasn't, I love Topic with like the whole gothic looks and stuff. I was like, I need dark colors. I can't do bright. I need to hide as much as I can. But Torrid had like the cutest, they had the shoes. And what I loved about Torrid is I could not wear boots because my calves were so big. I could not fit boots around my calves. But I went to Torrid one time and they had like these calf boots and they were made slightly bigger. And I was able to zip them up. I'm like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. And I love them. Okay, so Emily says there's a place in Monrovia, Wizard of Bras. Okay, let's plan a trip. Maybe we'll do a show or do like a live TikTok or something like that because I didn't know that they actually had bra stores.
I was not impressed with Victoria's Secret. I actually went there. Was it last summer already, or was it this winter? I went to Victoria's Secret. I had a gift card, so I went to see what it was all about, and I found a bra. They only went up to 38 in the store, though. They didn't go to 40. So I fit into the 38B bra. I did come home with one, and it was really nice and all that. I love it, but it's a little too tight around the band size still.
Yeah.
It's great to keep for eventually because I think I paid only maybe $20 out of pocket for it because I had a gift card.
Yeah, and I think for me, Victoria's Secret was one of those things where it was just an NSV bucket list. Because I would have never been able to even step foot in a store like that. So I will always remember the first time that I walked in and like you can see, I was like, I think I could wear this. And I just got so excited. It was more about what it represented, not that it had to be like a brand. And then oftentimes when I've gone to Victoria's Secret, I spend more money on like the lotions and like the sprays than I do like on underwear and bras and stuff. They have some really
I do Bath and Body Works more for that than any other place.
I do love Bath and Body Works, but I love coconut. I'm obsessed with the coconut smell. And what I hate is like at Bath and Body Works, it's usually limited to only around the summertime that they'll have those scents. And I found a couple scents at like Victoria's Secret. So I usually try to buy a couple of them at once if they'll last me like a long time. But I like, this is nothing bariatric related, but like I just love good smelling shit.
I like more of a citrusy, beachy kind of smell.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I go. So I'm like, ooh, I like this lemon scent. I like this orange scent.
Yeah.
I like, ooh, tropical fruit. Woohoo.
I like whatever, Emily, like you don't like coconut, whatever. I found this one, I think it was at Bath and Body Works. It's like this coconut pineapple scent.
Ooh.
Okay. It's like heaven on your skin and it smells like a pina colada. And I'm not much of a drinker. I don't drink very often, but the rare occasion I do, I will pina colada the crap out of it all day, any day.
Wow. That sounds really nice.
Oh, it's so good. So I have a bariatric question because it's a bariatric show.
Yep.
Are you much of a drinker at all?
I have never been much of a drinker. I never have. I always, back when I was heavier, I always would prefer to spend money on soda or something else that I liked rather than alcohol. I just never really liked alcohol. Maybe it was because my biological father was an alcoholic, but I just never really was enticed by alcohol.
Yeah.
Now I have maybe a couple drinks on the weekend if me and John are together and we're at his parents, or we decide to go out for a drink. But other than that, I'm not really big into it.
So I'm curious. So since you've had the surgery, how is your tolerance for it changed? Has it changed?
Not really, besides it affects me a lot faster.
Okay.
Like I really got to sip on my drink, and then if I do any more than sipping, it goes straight to my head and I get tipsy.
Now, does it last long in your system? Because I've seen people who will get like, they'll go from 0 to 100. They'll have like one drink, they get belligerently drunk, and then like an hour or two later, they're sober again.
If I don't have any more drinks, I can usually be pretty good in about 20 minutes.
See, that's just crazy to me.
Like I can actually feel myself coming down from it. It's kind of interesting. I can feel it. I hate to say it, but I feel it in my eyes. I can feel when I'm starting to get that kind of tipsy, and then I can feel when it kind of comes down. It's different.
Good morning to Kez, who's watching from Australia right now. I was like, morning, it's 12:30 here, but just because you know what's crazy is I don't want to say I was much of a drinker, because in my 20s that was a different story. Like I used to like drinking, but I was always a lightweight. Like even at 300 pounds, I would have one drink, and it's usually something fruity with a little umbrella. And then I drink it really fast because it's really, really good. And then all of a sudden I have the second one, and then I'm 3 sheets to the wind, and then I throw up and pass out. And I literally bypass the entire buzz phase, and I go from sober to either throwing up, room is spinning, passed out. And I never really got to enjoy like the actual drinking. And so I think because of that, I've never been much of a drinker. And it's hard because especially when you're social and you're with a bunch of people and everybody's doing it. And then like, I'm not a big fan of like peer pressure. I don't cave into peer pressure, but I warn people, I'm like, number one, I'm a really cheap date because I'm not gonna be able to drink very much. And then two, lately, if they don't have a pina colada at that place, I might get like a single shot of something, like some type of liqueur, and then I will literally sip on my shot glass the entire night. Because I feel like even now, almost 8 years later, it still hits me really, really quickly. And especially if I hadn't eaten very much. So I will take my little shot, kind of like my little 1 ounce sips, and I just kind of like just sip on it throughout the whole night. And then like, I'm good.
I've told John, so John and his family like to drink. They don't drink in excess, but they like to drink when they're together on the weekends or have a bonfire. And so I told him when I started, I said, I have to have food when I'm drinking. I have to have some sort of snack because that way it can absorb. And so we were sitting there, and of course everybody bought me drinks for my birthday. We went out. And he's like, okay, here's a Snickers. You need to sit down and eat now. I was like, hey, you remembered. Good.
Yeah, see, it's so crazy. So Kez was just writing in that she used to be able to keep up with the boys, and now hubby loves that she's a cheap drunk. And it's like, so like I just started a new client, helping him out with his business, and we had gone out to lunch, and some of the people didn't know that I'd ever had the surgery. So I ordered like a small meal, and they're like, why are you not ordering more? Like we're paying. He's like, it's not like you have to pay for it. Like we're paying, the company's paying for it. I'm like, no, I was like, and so you have to go through the whole, rigmarole about like, I have the surgery. I just physically can't eat that much. And I said, but hey, it makes me a really cheap date. Like when we go out, because either if my husband and I go out, I can usually share with him. He doesn't like that. I usually have to order my own plate. He doesn't like to share his food. But it just makes life so much easier. Like, at least for me, I don't know. So what else was I going to ask you? Because one thing that I was excited to hear about, at least with your story, is that you really didn't have very many complications after the surgery. I think the only thing that you had was just you were low on certain vitamins.
Yep, I got low potassium and magnesium really bad, to where I was hospitalized overnight to get infusions.
Yeah, I do remember you talking about that last time. So now, like, do you just take supplements every day?
I do take supplements, and I just had blood work done, and everything looked really good. Besides, my vitamin D was a little low, and I think my vitamin A was a little low, if I remember correctly.
I forgot. There's some foods that have vitamin A. I wonder if it's like Brussels sprouts or something like that. I think like has like vitamin A or something in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into it more. I just, with everything going on this month, because there's been some other stuff that has happened.
Yeah.
That it's been very process, so I probably won't get to that till October, but
one thing at a time. But just the last 3 months, you've had a lot of stuff going on.
Yep. And the biggest thing that happened just a couple weeks ago.
What happened a couple weeks ago?
Me and John are officially moving in together. We have bought a house.
Yes, you did. I wasn't going to share it. I was waiting for you to share it.
Literally, he got told last year by his bank that he would qualify for maybe 110,000. And so he was going to build his credit up, and we've been talking about it. And he lives in a horrible apartment. His neighbors are very
Yeah.
horrible neighbors. And I was like, just apply online. You don't even have to go through your bank. Just apply online. And he got approved for 255,000 for a mortgage. So we started looking, and one of my really good friends is a realtor. So I contacted her, and we found a couple houses we wanted to look at. We looked at them on Sunday, the 21st, had an offer placed on the 22nd, and the evening of the 23rd, they accepted our offer. So I got a birthday present a day early.
Yes, they did. I was so excited, and I loved it because Chelsey sent me like a video tour of the house that she really wanted. And first of all, I forgot at the time that you were in Minnesota because I was looking for this house, and I'm like, wait, why is this so cheap? Like, there must be something wrong with it. And then I realized, oh, she doesn't live in California. And I was like, literally, the price that they are asking for this house, I cannot even get a 1-bedroom, 600 square foot condo in a shitty neighborhood for that price. So I might have to pack up and move in with you because that house looks so amazing. And I loved it because you had a basement. And I'm like, we don't really have basements here in California. It's like the littlest things that we get. I get excited over things like that. I don't know. I'm weird.
That's okay. I'm excited because it has my dream kitchen, and it has a front porch, and it's sitting on 3 acres of land. So we have a huge open yard, which I got to send you the pictures of the yard because I took pictures of just the yard last night that I did not send you. So
I want to see it. So do you have like much of a green thumb? Like I do. Oh, Kez mentioned broccoli, carrots, and I have no idea what that third emoji is.
It almost looks like cheese, but I don't think it's cheese.
But if cheese was filled with vitamin A, like my life would be complete. I could literally live off of cheese.
Oh, trust me, same here. Same here. I have had a few friends who had the bariatric surgery who became lactose intolerant, and I was like, no, I could not be lactose intolerant.
Yeah. Oh, sweet potato. Okay. Oh, I love potatoes. So here's the thing: is I am lactose intolerant, but when it comes to cheese, I just roll the dice. Like I can't give it up. I just try not to eat too much of it if I'm going to be out in public. But
right,
I'm not going to give it up. So what I was going to ask is, do you have much of a green thumb? Like, are you into gardening or anything like that?
I am, and actually, John's dad, huge garden that he every year, like he has a humongous garden. So we do plan to do gardening. John wants to get chickens, so we will have chickens come this spring.
Yes.
And so yeah, we'll be doing a garden, not a huge one, but I want to make salsa and do some canning and make my own spaghetti sauce because John has celiacs, so he has to be gluten-free.
Yes.
So we are going strictly gluten-free in our house now when we move, which is hard for me because I like my carbs. I hate it.
But you know what, though? I pretty much am gluten-free. I've never been tested for it, but I'm pretty sure I do have a gluten sensitivity or an intolerance because certain foods will affect me very badly. There's so many variations now that a lot of times I don't even like, even something like a tortilla. Like I found like gluten-free tortillas and I don't know the difference. Or I'm really big into like, I love zoodles. Or I found like, even like there's a lot of really good gluten-free pastas.
There is. With being with John, I have cooked gluten-free when he's been at the house, and then I eat my gluten when I'm away from him. So like I've done gluten-free spaghetti, gluten-free macaroni and cheese, gluten-free rotini, like, and then he makes his own bread in a bread maker. So
how resourceful. Can he like come to Bakersfield and like make me some bread?
He would love to if he would like to fly. He doesn't like flying very much. He's never flown. So I got to get him on a plane.
First for everything. If you can get him on a plane, you tell him I will blow his mind and I will take you both to the Cheesecake Factory. I'll find the closest city that has one. Dinner and cheesecake is on me, but he has to get on a plane to come out here.
Which, funny enough, we've talked about like our honeymoon and stuff, and he wants to go to Florida. I was like, okay, are you gonna fly? Are we gonna fly to Florida? He's like, well, yeah. Like, there's cheap flights with Allegiant. I'm like, well, yeah. But that means you got to actually fly.
Yeah, you gotta actually get on the plane and just do it.
Yep.
I think it's one of those things that once you just do it and you get over that, like then you're like, okay, why was I freaking out this bad? Like it's nothing. Yeah, because when you showed me that picture of the property and you told me it was like 3 acres. Now I'm a born and raised Valley City girl. I have not grown up around chickens and cows and farm animals. I do not have vegetable farms or anything like that. But I always love the idea of like a bucket list dream is to have like my own vegetable garden or have like my own herb garden and be able to like go out into the back and pick my own, basil and tomato and then make like a fresh spaghetti sauce with it or make some kind of a dish with it going like, I grew this in my backyard like that. So I'm going to live vicariously through you. So no pressure, but you need a vegetable garden of some kind. You don't have to have a lot. And you need some herbs that you're going to grow. And I want a video with you and I want to watch you pick them. And then we can make a dish together with fresh,
Works for me. I know we're going to have garlic and cucumbers, tomatoes, corn, lettuce. What is it? Lettuce. I kind of want to grow spinach. His dad has asparagus plants, so we might get a shoot from them. He wants to grow pumpkins because we have deer that like to come and eat them.
Wait, there's deer there?
Oh, yeah. We have deer tracks in our backyard. And
yeah, we don't get deer in Bakersfield. We get a lot of cows. It's a lot of agriculture. There's actually a farm near, but not far from me, that's a garlic farm.
Oh, and interesting.
I know some people are not a fan of garlic. I'm Italian. I am obsessed with garlic. You can never have too much garlic in a dish, at least with me. My husband will not concur, and he does not like it when the garlic comes out of my pores because I love it so much. But it smells so heavenly. Like, I think it would be cool to have like a garlic plant or something like that.
I love garlic. My mom raised me with putting garlic in everything. Like, she used to make homemade garlic dill pickles. And, they were the best, most amazing pickles I have ever had and have had to this day. And I am sad that I do not have a recipe for them. But
you're not the first person who has mentioned garlic pickles. I've had like 3 people in the last 2 months mention garlic pickles and getting them at the store.
I'm like salivating over the garlic pickles now.
The idea of it is so exciting. Now, every market I've gone to, I have not been able to find them. So if anybody knows where I can find garlic pickles, like in a jar, please let me know. And I will either Instacart it or get in my car and go get it. Because I've been wanting, everyone swears like how amazing they are. And I want to try them.
They are, did you see Emily's comment?
Oh, okay. We are Instacarting today. Have you had them in a jar before, or just the homemade?
Just homemade.
I need to learn how to make them.
I plan to look up some recipes. I do have, I believe, my mom's recipe for salsa, so I'm super excited to make that.
Is it spicy? I can't do spicy.
No, it is not spicy, and it's actually runny. It's not chunky.
Really?
I love runny salsa. I've never been one for big chunks in my salsa. I've always loved a runny salsa. So you might just get some packages this summer.
Yeah, I am not going to turn that down. What you mentioned is that you do canning, like.
Yeah.
Okay, so you and I need to talk outside of the show. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, was known for her jams and jellies. And she used to actually submit them into like the LA County Fair every year. Mm-hmm. And she often won first place. She was known for something. She made a margarita jam, which tasted identical to a margarita. She made, my favorite one was like this peach pepper jam, which to me sounded really disgusting. But when she would put it like on a cracker with a little cream cheese and this jam, Oh my God, it was life-changing. So when she passed away and I was going through all of her things and like packing everything up, I came across a lot of the recipes that she had for the jams and jellies. And so I have them, but I have no idea. I know nothing about canning. I've never even attempted to make it. And it's one of the things that I've never made with her. So I never got to see her firsthand doing it. But if that's something you know how to do, I have plans.
Awesome.
Okay, Emily's still going on. I can't stop thinking about like pickles right now. Grillo's pickles. Okay, I'm writing this down. So okay, number one, like, are we nervous about moving in together?
I am nervous. So I take care of my best friend. I've been friends with her since 2015. She had a stroke at the age of 33 in 2019. And so she cannot live by herself. And so we're condensing, mine and her, along with our 4 cats and 3 ferrets that we have in this house, and John, who's over here by himself,
right,
into one household. It's a lot.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's definitely going to be an adjustment, especially when your interaction, you guys live 2 hours apart. So whenever there's a bad day, or I don't know if you get into a fight or an argument or whatever, but I was like, but then like you go your, did you see that?
I did.
My pen literally flew out of my hand and I caught that shit like crouching tiger status. Like that was
awesome. I do that all the time in my office. It'll go flying across towards the window. It's like, oops.
I don't even know why I'm holding it. I think it's just like a habit or whatever. But what I was saying though is, yeah, like usually if there's an argument or if there's any kind of a disagreement, you go your separate ways. And so it's definitely, cat-like reflexes. I also have ADD right now because like I'm all over the place. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment, but I don't know. I know that some people feel differently about moving in together before or after you're married. I think I would rather do it beforehand and you kind of get the kinks out of the way and you kind of, deal with the transition.
And see, he came and actually stayed with me for a week over Christmas. So we had that where I got up to go to work. He was here. He kept busy. He went ice fishing. Like he did a whole bunch of different things. And so we do really well. It's more of everybody together in one space. But thankfully we have a big double stall garage that's oversized. So there's an area for like a workshop. So he'll have his area out there. Plus, he wanted a man cave, so he has a man cave upstairs.
Yeah.
So he has his areas to escape from the ladies, as he says, because me and Jen are there. But
you know what though? Like the place that you put an offer in, like there's so much space there that you're not on top of each other.
No.
Like when my husband and I first moved in together, it was like we shared a bedroom. Like we rented a bedroom in a house with a bunch of other people.
Okay.
So, when that, like you're getting to know each other very, very quickly in a very short period of time. And I felt like, the littlest things, like how he, does the toothpaste roll or whatever, or like how he does. And like, even like 8 years, not 8 years, we've been together like 15 some odd, I don't know, I lost count. We dated in 2006. I can't do math right now. It's Wednesday.
So yeah, that's 15 years.
Yeah, like 15 years or whatever. I'm still not allowed to touch his laundry. I'm not allowed to touch his clothes. He's still very particular about things. But yeah, but you know what? It's so exciting, and you're getting this house together, and like I'm so excited for you, and you're gonna have a vegetable garden. Like you're gonna have things to do. You're not gonna be on top of each other, and I'm just like I'm so excited for you. And number one, like even though, like I said, Chelsey was given like less than 12 hours notice, I feel like to come on today, but I was so glad that you were able to come on because I loved just in 3 months how much things have changed for you.
It's been really kind of a fast-paced 3 months. Like I didn't even realize until you said that last night that it had been 3 months. I was like, what? Yes. Really? Like that doesn't seem like it's been that long.
It doesn't feel like it's been 3 months at all. And yeah, even though we talked earlier today, like there's been some roadblocks like in the health department, but at least we're moving in the right direction. But just that the NSV that you had with the like putting on the wedding dress, and like now you're getting a house, and like all of these things are like coming to fruition and coming, you know, together and stuff. Like I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to like have you on again and just see like what else has been going on.
I'm excited for that too. So funny enough is that with getting this house and having a huge yard, we're thinking of having the wedding at the house instead of at the venue where we were going to have it.
I love that idea.
Because the yard is huge, and there is a perfect area that is perfectly open with trees around it, but not right in the area where we could fit chairs for a wedding.
See, if I was able to do it at a house, I 100% would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, because, you know, when you, regardless of the venue, it's basically just 4 walls, and yeah, you can decorate it however you want. But a lot of times when you go to a wedding, people don't remember the room you were in.
Mm-hmm.
They remember specific moments. They remember the first dance, or how you looked in the dress, or like a thing that happened during the toast, or like people don't even remember the food. Like, I don't know, like how many weddings you've been to, you were like, yo, yeah, that food was really good. Well, what'd you have? I don't remember. I just remember not complaining about it at the wedding.
Right.
So that's why, like, I would like, if I had to pick a budget, I would budget over like things that would be most important to you. Like when I worked in the, so I'm going to give you some wedding advice. Are you ready before we end the show?
Mm-hmm.
When I worked in the wedding industry and I was talking to brides all the time, one of the things that we were taught to get from them is, I want you to describe your wedding in 3 words. Depending on, like, when you think about the whole picture for the whole night, what are 3 words that you would use to describe the wedding? I'm putting you on the spot.
Family.
Mm-hmm.
Blue. That just comes to mind because I love blue.
Okay.
And comfortable, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. How would you want people to just, like, when you have your wedding, what would you want your guests to say when they left?
That they had a great time. I guess I don't necessarily know.
And that's the thing is, obviously you don't have to have all the answers right now.
Yeah.
But what was really fascinating is how every bride had a different answer. Now, some women would say like they want it to be very elegant, or they want like flowers were really important. And some people said, I want people to never leave the dance floor, which told me entertainment was really important to them, to make sure the music is really good. So basically, depending on how you want the overall visual to be for you, and the kind of reaction that you want to get from your guests, those are the things that you should put more of your budget towards. So like if flowers are not important to you, don't spend a ton of money on flowers that are going to die in a couple of days that some people may or may not remember.
I'm making flowers. We're good there.
But for some women, flowers are extremely important, and they put a large budget towards that. For me, the most important thing was I wanted it to be captured. So I would have wanted like a videographer who does a really good job. Like I would have rather put more money towards that, because the day's going to go by so quickly. You're not going to remember everything. But if somebody is really qualified to capture it for you, that can last eternity, that was more important to me. And then for me was the entertainment. I wanted people dancing the entire night. I wanted it to be like this giant celebration. So that would be my biggest advice for you, is to kind of visualize how you see the end result looking. And then from there, you can spend more time on specific areas that are going to be giving you that visualization afterwards, if that makes sense.
It does.
And I mean, I don't know any vendors in Minnesota, but anything that I can help with, you know that I'm going to help you. Wait, so Kez, okay, I know like the show, like we're running out of time, but Kez said her wedding was remembered for the massive food fight. So number one, Kez lives in Australia, and we still have to coordinate getting her on the show because she too has had bariatric surgery, and we want to hear all about her story. So Kez, when I have you on the show, we're going to coordinate it. I need to know about this food fight that happens at a wedding, because that's not something that's very typical at a wedding.
But it sounds kind of fun/funny.
Yeah. Now I need to know the deets on that. So on that note, like I said, Chelsey, I love you so hard, and I'm so glad that you were here today. I know that when we got a lot off topic, like not necessarily bariatric related, but hey, that's what the show's about. We just go off the cuff and we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. So before we end the show, is there anything that you wanted to add or have any parting words?
No, just thank you again for having me, and it's been fun. I enjoy being on here with you.
And you're coming again, right? You don't.
Oh, absolutely. If you're gonna have me, I sure will.
Yeah, we have a lot more to talk about. Okay, and so. Okay, so now the plot thickens. Kez just wrote says that she's going to tell me the clean version. Smurf that. You are telling me the down and dirty. Like, I want the sordid details of this version. So if we need to find a way to edit it for the show, no, F that. We go unfiltered on this show. So I want all of the details, 100%. So on that note, thank you so much to everybody who has been watching today. It really means the world to me. You guys can catch the show on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You can watch it live every week on Wednesdays at noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm excited to announce we are all over the place in the podcast world. We are now on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on Pandora. I just looked at the stats. We've had over 100 downloads of the show in just 3 months.
That is so cool.
It's so insane. Like, I'm totally excited. So I can't wait to see like how this progresses. And again, thank you so much to Chelsey. If you guys have any questions for Chelsey, you can write us in the show. You can email me at info@sherryarcuria.com. If you need to know how to spell it, oh, you can't see the screen. Oh, like it's right there. There's me. You can also go to my website, sherryarcuria.com, where you can find old episodes as well as the blog. You can get a copy of my book. I'm going to start putting other stories on there as well. And then, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week.